Steve Carell is best known for his role in The Office, but he created another 4-season sitcom with an impressive 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it feels like a mashup of his hit NBC series and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Although Carell has shown his range in more serious roles, including his Hulu thriller, The Patient, he's most often associated with his comedy projects. Obviously, this includes The Office, but it also encompasses TV shows like Space Force and The Four Seasons, as well as movies like The 40-Year-Old Virgin and Anchorman. And Carell isn't always in front of the camera, either. His role as GRU in the Despicable Me franchise has shown off his voice acting skills, and he also boasts credits as a writer, producer, and director. Given his experience with comedy, it's probably no surprise that one of the best series Carell worked on behind the scenes is a sitcom. And the final product drives home his talent for making people laugh. It also feels reminiscent of The Office, just with a law enforcement twist. Steve and Nancy Carell created the police sitcom Angie Tribeca. The 4-season sitcom poked fun at straightforward procedurals. Rashida Jones as Angie Tribeca looking unimpressed with ketchup on her shirt and holding a hot dog in Angie Tribeca. Steve Carell and his wife, Nancy Carell, created the police sitcom Angie Tribeca, which premiered back in 2016. The 4-season series was cancelled in 2019, but it received high praise until the end. Although it didn't have the viewership numbers to go on for as long as The Office, the series following was committed. Its consistently positive reviews speak to that fact. Angie Tribeca starred Rashida Jones, an alum from the cast of The Office, and followed her character as she oversaw a team of lap detectives. But instead of taking a more serious approach to the group's assignments, the series poked fun at straightforward procedurals. It leaned into absurd cases and exaggerated the genre's conventions. And it was better for it. The parody angle made sense given Carell's history, and it led to Angie Tribeca feeling a bit like The Office. Of course, that wasn't the only TV series it shared similarities with. The 4-season show also felt reminiscent of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, creating a combination that made its smaller reach surprising. Angie Tribeca feels like a mixture of The Office and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Angie Tribeca felt like a mashup of The Office and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, leaning into the strengths of both beloved sitcoms. The fact that the TBS show parodied police procedurals gave it a similar feel to Carell's hit series, which was a mockumentary of corporate workplaces. Carell being so heavily involved in both shows ensured they'd receive some comparisons, but the humor of Angie Tribeca and The Office also had commonalities. The deadpan joke deliveries and unflinching snark drove their points home. Both leaned into awkward moments, too, though Angie Tribeca sometimes had a harder time with that approach. However, Angie Tribeca's law enforcement focus and absurdity also made it a solid Brooklyn Nine-Nine replacement. It didn't quite reach the heights of the 8-season police sitcom, but it made a decent follow-up. Carell's sitcom leaned into satire more than Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but both utilized similar backdrops to get the job done. Given that Angie Tribeca felt like a combination of two of the greatest sitcoms of all time, it's surprising it didn't blow up more during its time on air. It was bold and entertaining, but not everyone appreciated its humor in the same way that they fell for The Office and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and even The Office took time to find its footing. With a name like Steve Carell behind the series, Angie Tribeca likely could have and should have been bigger. But it's still a worthwhile watch, with 4 seasons viewers can enjoy. And those who appreciate The Office and Brooklyn Nine-Nine are even more likely to appreciate it, even with its shortcomings.